Work was also very big because, of course, we had to have our group to build our hydroponic systems together and to complete the culinary part at KCC, which leads me to cooking. I also learned a lot of creative learning, which kind of ties the two together per se, because in standard learning, I'm not going to learn how to grow vegetables or cook food or any of that, or even how to necessarily work with others as well as I did through MPX. And then also with that group work and having that independence away from the teachers, we really had to learn a lot of responsibility through MPX. Okay, so my first one is hydroponics that I'll be talking about. So I guess the enemy I chose for this was Evil Freedom, which was kind of a sense of the freedom we got while building and doing our hydroponic system. It was kind of an issue for me in certain parts of the year, as far as having that time away from the teachers to really stay on task and get my work done. I was really able to accomplish this by learning that I am part of a group, I'm part of a team, that we all need to do our fair share and we all need to constantly be on task in order to create one system in a sense that works together to grow vegetables in a hydroponic system. So yeah, we did a lot of hard work in this. We started by learning how to even make tables, just work tables, using the equipment that Mr. Kaneko had provided. This is, a very realistic thing that we're learning in life. It's a great thing to know, how to build, all this stuff. Like, for me, at least, I know my dad's a contractor, so that's something, he did and does every day almost. Also, providing fresh vegetables, something that's super important, especially here in Hawaii. I don't know, I know the other students here would know this, but about 90 or 85% of our vegetables, our produce here on Oahu is imported from the mainland or from even across the world. Being able to know that I can provide for myself through hydroponics that MPX has taught me is a great feeling of accomplishment to know. So yeah, here's a picture of some freshly grown tomatoes that I grew in my hydroponic system. We harvested about 30 tomatoes in the course that we had the system set up. This is awesome considering we made the system cheap and effective using only a 5-gallon bucket and some chicken wire. So this shows also that it's compact, like where you're growing, is you can use minimal space to make maximum amount of vegetables, high density gardening, as Mr. Kaneko taught us. We use these tomatoes in the recipe for our cook-off, which helped make our winning chicken marinara with mozzarella and hydroponically grown tomato sauce. Yeah. Here's tomatoes growing on the vines, and then us planting the lettuce below. That's like the seedlings as it goes into the system. Here's a total overview of our system setup. As you see, it barely takes up maybe a 10-foot by 5-foot area, which can be as big as someone's balcony. So the next thing that I really got out of MPX is communication. It's group work. Our greatest villain was doctor communication. The power that we used to defeat the communication errors that we had with being able to talk to each other was our iPads. We had, iMessage, email, even FaceTime to help each other get the tasks done. As some of us, like Micah, were separated from a different class, so 3 of us would be in one class working on the system, and then Micah would come in and work on it the next period. So this is something that we worked around using our resources that were given to us, such as our iPads. Group work is really realistic in life because in our future jobs, I'm pretty sure that, at least I know 75% of us will have coworkers at our jobs. We'll have other people, no matter what, that we're going to have to deal with in life. We're going to have to work with others, learning their differences, so everyone can work together to get one goal done. So yeah, that's how we can use group work that we learn through MPX in the future. Here's a picture of us building our hydroponic system together. Like how Micah previously talked about, that's the board that we had to drill through. Took a lot of time and really effort from all of us to get that done. Also, we learned a lot of group collaboration from something called Socratic Circles, which we learned about in this Calibros class, actually. So what this is after we annotated and went through the book that we're reading, in this case I believe it's the Odyssey, we would talk together and have a discussion about it so everyone can give in their ideas on the perspective of the book. Here's a chicken that we made as it came out of the oven. And this kind of, really shows that like all of us put effort into the recipe, and that without having my teammates and everyone being able to work hard in the kitchen, that we probably wouldn't have done as well. We were actually really surprised how we were talking about previously that we did so well in the competition. So the next thing is cooking, and our greatest villain was TikTok, the evil time master. So in the kitchen or anything, we had to learn to work under pressure because not only were we judged, but we had a time limit of an hour to get all of our food done. Cooking is really a skill that we'll always use. I mean, you know, if you go off to college, most kids always talk about, haha, I'm in college, I'm gonna buy myself a cup of noodles or go out to eat for dinner. But like, you know, I really know in this case that we can cook ourselves healthy meals using sustainable ingredients that we grew ourselves. It's really a fun and new realm of learning. Like, who would have thought that, like, you know, a whole school curriculum would be based on cooking? Like, that was a major part of it. Like, something super cool to get a field trip to KCC to learn how to cook from Chef Matt Igami, and I just thought that was a really awesome experience. Yeah, here's a picture of us learning from Chef Matt all together as a class. And these are meals that everyone in the class created. These are different groups, like the soup and all of these. And we not only learned how to make the food taste good, but we learned how to make it healthy at the same time. It's great, has a great presentation to it. Like, it looks fun to eat, as Chef Matt would say. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about for my superpowers that I learned was creative learning. Greatest villain, count procrastination, of course, because you know, we're on our iPads a lot. We have a lot of freedom with this when we are doing creative learning, so staying away from things like games and social media was at first a challenge for me, but then I really learned that, you know, if you don't get it done, you're not going to get a grade for it. So I learned that I really had to work hard with this. Having fun but educational with work. So let's say here I have a picture of an infographic that I did of our hydroponic system. Instead of typing an essay about learning the biology of plants, we got to create a full hydroponic system, grow the plants ourselves, and learn on the way about the biology that we were supposed to learn in the standard curriculum. Through this, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it has more work in it. Yes, I definitely agree that we definitely did a lot of work. But that work was creative, fun, and totally just intrigued me. We had a lot of learning freedom with this, with making infographics and stuff. You know, we were kind of told the rubric, and then like even with this POL presentation, I've seen people that iMovies, skits, they've written books. All of that has just really shown that we are given that freedom in MPX. Yeah, here's a picture of one that we did called Heroes Project, where we actually got to pick who our hero was per se. In this case, I picked my father, and we did a write-up about them as well as photos, and then presented it up in Kawai Ha'o. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. Culinary arts was another way of creatively learning that I talked about. Like, you know, we're learning how to cook, and through this we're getting to use the hydroponically grown lettuce, tomatoes, and herbs that we made in our recipes. Pros bases from World War II scenario. We gotta pick the characteristic of somebody, and we have to actually write a prose, like what it would be like from their perspective, onto a clay pot that we did in Mr. Heath's ceramics class. So this is, really something creative that we did. And then we had a presentation showing of it where we got to, really help with our social skills, being able to talk to adults, which is something that I personally believe in this electronic age that a lot of kids lack. We had to talk to people like Principal McManus, Mr. McIntosh in some cases, I believe. And I just thought that was really cool. The next one I want to talk about, responsibility. Probably the hardest thing, but one of the most useful things that I had to learn through MPX. Greatest villain was Mr. Social. Like how I talked about previously, I'm a very social person. I was like, be with my friends and have fun, I guess. Responsibility really truly is a lifelong skill, no matter where we are in life. Like, having a pet, you have your responsibilities. School responsibilities. When we're older, we'll have taxes, we'll have to provide food. When we have families, we're responsible for our children and providing. I really think responsibility is something important for our future that we learn. We also have to be responsible for assignments. In MPX, the teachers maybe told us, yeah, you guys have the assignment, but it was really up to us to check iTunes U or to check Ms. Caliburno's Edline posts to be able to get the assignment done and get it out of the way. We didn't have a teacher there pushing us along the whole way, which is how it's really going to be in the real world. There's not really always a someone to be there to hold your hand, But in MPX, the teachers really did a great job of setting us in the right direction and then seeing how it pans out. Like here's an MPX sharing that we did. Like how I talked about before, we had the responsibility of setting up this sharing that we did and making the pieces. Like imagine if someone didn't get theirs done on time, they wouldn't have been presenting there with everyone else. This is in the cafeteria here at Scudder. Building and maintaining our system, major responsibility. We didn't have too many issues per se with my group, but we had a few as far as like system leaks and our plants drying out and not growing. But the main thing is that we really have to be watching out for the maintenance of our system and to make sure all our plants are growing well and healthy. Field trip responsibility. I actually struggled with this a lot at the beginning of the year. Being able to maintain our behavior and uphold the honor code of the honor of the school is mine. Through this, we were able to learn in a different perspective from different people in a different area, which may have seemed foreign to us, which was a little bit hard for me at the time, not to hang out with my friends or goof around and talk. Alright, so that concludes my presentation. Through MPX this year, I really feel I learned a lot that I wouldn't have in standard learning. I feel the tasks that I learned and the skills that I learned are important, lifelong skills, while still getting the regular curriculum that we would have learned in standard. Alright, thank you very much.
Any questions for Cameron? Cameron, this year you struggled a little bit with the responsibility part, especially when the teacher wasn't around.
Definitely.
And you talked about how you learned that you can't be doing that.
Right.
What are you going to do in the future to make sure that this continues?
In the future, I need to make sure that I am constantly being responsible by being able to separate myself from things like friends, distractions, iPads, cell phones. Actually, if I'm in a class or something that I know, they really don't want us to have our phone out or to be using social media for the wrong purposes, I'll, turn off notifications, turn off my phone, put it in my backpack and away. Like I actually did this with my math class. Like I had a few incidences where I've had my phone taken away and stuff. So like when I go into math from now on, turn off my phone, put it in my bag because I know I got to get straight to business and get the work done. Yes.
Okay, so if Mr. Kaneko's question was forward looking, what recommendation would you give to us so that the skills that you've learned, we could help people younger than you learn? What could we have done for you 3 years ago that would have helped you learn those things prior to today?
Something that I kind of talked about in my presentation was the fact that teachers are there, like in MPX, they point you in the right direction and give you the instruction, but they're not necessarily there holding your hand the whole time, because in life we have lessons that we're going to have to learn on our own either way. You make a mistake, it has a consequence. Everything in life has a consequence, of course, good or bad, but I guess in the future, if someone's struggling with that stuff, you kind of learn on your own per se. You get in trouble, you get your phone taken away. That's because you were on it and you shouldn't have been in the first place. But I definitely like the fact about how MPX, they're not necessarily holding your hand the whole time, but they're there to point you in the right direction and they want you to learn the lesson on your own. Any other questions? Thank you very much.